Hi, I have no slides. I'm from Think City. My name is Neil, and I think my colleague Hamdan spoke already this morning with lots and lots of slides. So basically, I'm all out of slides. I think this is very timely. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Penang Institute and Jokling, for organizing this very important workshop. I think it's very important for three simple reasons. Speaking on behalf of Think City, we have been originating projects with the people in Georgetown and Penang, working very closely with the City Council as well as other governmental agencies here. And what we feel is that we've come to a fork in the road. So back in HQ in Kuala Lumpur, I mean the big brother that owns us, we've been asked this very simple question: is there anything else that Think City can do that will contribute to Penang? And if not, then maybe it's time to sort of relook at what we're doing and pack our bags and move to another city. Of course, being a person who is born and bred in Penang, I would be loath to leave Penang. But I think that question is really quite important. I think this whole idea of being a World Heritage Site has given a new boost to Penang. It has really put us on the map. We work with people like Joe, who again is sort of tirelessly promoting Penang. But what is the next big move for this city? What comes after all these small incremental projects that we've been doing? Yeah, we've just become a city again. We were a city, then we weren't a city. Now the whole island is a city. Yeah. So if you're thinking about rethinking about Penang, maybe Mr. Ang, who is the secretary of the City Council now, do you think it's time for some big ideas? For example, maybe declaring overnight that we have the world's biggest central park, because all of Penang Hills is actually a kind of central park. Because some developers may not be happy, but what I'm trying to say basically is that, in Think City, we always believe in the imagination. To allow people in Penang the space to rethink and reconfigure their futures. I think that's so important. Many a time, we look at statistics. Hamdan, my colleague, comes from investment banking, so you can imagine how it's like working inside Think City. But he has a very good heart. And I think that heart part is also very important. Where is this city, where is Penang as a city, as a state going to be 10, 20 years down the road? Yeah? For us, it's very clear. We believe in a new city core that comprises Georgetown, the heritage site, and Butterworth. So we have set up a new program called the Image Baru Butterworth, together with the mayor of Butterworth, Dok Maimuna. So we are sort of reinventing old ties, because we were working with her to set up World Heritage Office and our programs here in Georgetown. And we really believe that a new city core that comprises the island and the mainland is quite essential for the reimagining of Penang. Secondly, we still think that the approach where you work with local communities, you work at a local neighborhood level, even at the individual level, is important, because that's really what makes Penang quite different from any other place, at least in Malaysia. We are now in Kuala Lumpur, and also recently I was in Johor Bahru. And I can tell you that, I think Penang people are quite forward with their views. I think Miss Lim and I had an interesting experience in the morning session. And it is this contrarian nature of Penangites. So, you know, in the morning they can talk to you about Hokkien noodles, Hokkien mee, and then after that go into the hall and start lambasting you, which is fine. And then after that, come here and have tea again. That's all fine. But I think that empowering citizens, giving them an opportunity to have a say in the making of their own city, it's something that's very vital. And in any kind of branding opportunity that you do, in any kind of reimagining of Penang that you do, that has to be one of the cornerstones. And ultimately, in the last point I'd like to make is this. When we first started out Think City, we got this grant money from the Ministry of Finance, and this lady who at that time was in charge of the funds, Dato Rahmat, till the day I die, I will remember her. She's very, very fierce. She's got a PhD in mathematics from Cornell. And she looks at you with this, you know, and of course I tried my best to be charming and to explain how important it is to look at all the soft side of things and everything else. And then she just looked at me and she said, Neil, I'm from Penang, I know Penang very well. If I go to Penang, I cannot touch the stuff, cannot bite it, cannot smell it, I will nail you to the wall, you know. So when we first set up Think City, we had this, you know, we had all these wonderful plans and said, oh, you know, we're going to think about branding, we're going to think about, you know, how do we get the message across and everything else. And we even hired someone who had the background in branding and everything else, as Agnes. And then we told Agnes, sorry, my dear, we can hire you, but we have absolutely no money for anything else. So you've got to brand all the projects, get everything out into the open, get people to believe in us with absolutely no money. And I think that has worked very well. And what we mean by this is that if you look at Think City events, we don't really have any ribbon cutting ceremonies. You know, ribbon cutting ceremonies where you have important dignitaries go and cut the ribbon and everything else. I think the whole idea is that if anyone is to get any credit, it should be the people who are actually doing the work, the organizers and the residents and the community. And then that has been one of the success factors. So at the end of the day, if you want to brand something, the best kind of activity that you can do is you get the people that you work with to brand you. And that was how it worked out. We didn't give Joe any money in the beginning. Yeah, but somehow we're still friends, firm friends. And I think that somehow empowering the community to be able to participate in these programs has been the cornerstone of our approach. So I don't know whether that has added anything to the conversation, but that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.